Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. And through this channel, I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update of our $1 million challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this is a journey of an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategy called compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades, and we do take into account losses. And for further details in terms of joining us on this journey and information in terms of how the challenge is going so far and how to join, details are in description below. In the previous video, we did some important updates for ticker symbol MULN, Mullen Automotive, so please refer back to the previous video for an important update with regard to a new order. So that's quite a bullish update, and there was significant news as well with regard to an interview. We also did an important update for ticker symbol ABML, American Battery Metals, and there was also an important update with regard to the infrastructure bill and an announcement from the president. So please refer back to the previous video for details of both stocks. In today's video, I'm going to do a quick response to the breaking news today. So we have had news. So today's video we're going to be looking at a response to the announcement that has just come today from the company. So we're going to have a look at responses, we're going to share some opinions, we're going to share some thoughts, and we're going to look at what the potential outcome going forward is. So first of all, let's share with you a tweet on the screen from George, and this is what after I think in excess of 20 days this is the first tweet we've had from George, and what George has done is actually given us a retweet. So one thing I am a little bit disappointed about here is that George has not added some comments, he's not added some opinions, he's not added any text, he's just retweeted. So it would have been positive, it would have been great to get some of your insights, some of your opinions. So let's have a look at the tweet in question, what as George has retweeted. So what George has said here: Meta Materials provides update on the special Series A preferred stock dividend. So let's have a look at the specific news and see what we can find with regard to anything important in there, the good news and the bad news. Okay, so on the headline here that was released through Access Wire and official channels of the company, we can see the headline here is Meta Materials provides update on the special Series A preferred stock dividend. So they did say they will release an update before the end of the first quarter 2022. So they have done that, but they've only just done that with a on the last actual day of the quarter. So again, they've left it very last minute. We've for quite a significant amount of time we've not had any significant communication with regard to this. So let's have a delve quickly into this and see what we can find. So it states here in terms of the update, a preferred stock dividend in relation to the oil and gas assets, which is now planned as a spin out of these assets and operations in a company that will be owned by the company's Series A preferred stockholders. So what that basically means, everyone who is a holder of MMTLP will become a common shareholder of Oilco. So that's the plan. That's the official statement here in the first paragraph. So basically what this means, it is highly unlikely now that it seems to be an outright cash dividend. So that is highly unlikely. However, in one of my previous videos I did make a suggestion, and I think a lot of people disagreed with me. I said if the company can make a statement to say we have a buyer, this is the amount that is going to result from a cash dividend, but it results in a small delay, I would rather take that delay for a very significant dividend due to a cash buyer. However, people disagreed with that, and many people wanted a smaller payment or a quicker payment and no more delays. But the general gist of this response here, there is a delay. So the negative thing about this, and something that I'm not happy and I think many other investors are not happy, is there is no cash buyer, there is no significant cash sale. It is going ahead with a spin out, and the other bad news is there is another delay. So let's delve a little bit further into this. So the company have said in terms of the oil and gas operations, with the completion of 4 wells in December 2021, the company believes that Meta is still in compliance of all aspects of its lease obligations. If you remember, the land is owned by the university. Metamaterials have rights to the assets with oil and gas so long as they comply with the drilling. So they are stating here that they are doing that. And with regard to the Oro Grande project, the next step now, they're saying here further down, the spin out includes but is not limited to. So again, they're throwing a caveat there. They're throwing in that statement for everybody to speculate, which is saying not limited to. So in the first paragraph, they are saying is now planned as a spin out. Second paragraph, but not limited to. So again, the problem here is becoming subjective. It's down to interpretation. So this is also another implication here that other options are available. So one thing I would like is a little bit of clarity on this, a little bit of feedback, a little bit of comment. Now, George did say there would be a presentation, investor presentation with further details. We're still waiting for news for that. It's still not come. So again, a lot of investors will not be happy about that. So basically, we're saying here it's not limited to formal transfer of the assets through contribution of certain subsidiaries at the oil and gas assets to Oilco Holdings Incorporated, a newly formed wholly subsidiary of Meta. So it's right now it is under the branch of Meta, and it's going to ensure that Oilco capital structure supports a spin out and making any necessary filings with the SEC. So they are hoping that this company is a spin out. So what that implies that the spin out company will be more independent. At the moment, it's owned and as a subsidiary of Meta. The owners of spin out will be us as holders of MMTLP. So let's now go to the second part of this press release. So in the second part of this article, what the company have said here, that they've been utilising a team of asset managers who bring significant experience in oil and gas exploration. So in one of the previous videos, you will know that I did say that George's expertise is not oil and gas. So I think what the company are trying to do here is reflect that by identifying some people they believe have got significant experience in oil and gas, because oil and gas is not the expertise of George. So the team is continuing to consult for the company by providing operational advice. So one thing I'm sure everybody is aware of, when a company is employing people as consultants, the fees, the costs are quite significant. So the company, so they're providing consultation for advice on drilling, development of wells, the Oro Grande project. This team is also looking at key planning and operational assistant for the full development of the project. Should the Oilco spin out be consummated, the team will be evaluated for commensurate employment packages subject to all necessary approvals. So these are the biographies. I'm not going to delve into the biographies, but basically what they're saying here is they're looking at employing these people, obviously with huge salaries. First one, Clifton Dubo. Second one, Delvina Olkers. And the third one, Kyle Bradford. So these are going to be significant people in Oilco. So at a later date, we can delve a little bit into their backgrounds, but let's now look at the final part of this press release. So in the final part, I'm just going to go down to the second paragraph. So what the company have said here, that the company must complete an audit of the oil and gas operations. The company engaged in an auditor on March 21st, 2022 to conduct the audit. When the spin out is completed, the holders of the Series A preferred shares will exchange the preferred shares pro rata for the Oilco common shares. So that's what I said earlier. So the preference shares will be converted into common shares, and those common shares will be in Oilco. So necessary audit and legal work related to the asset consolidation spin out is expected to be completed in the coming months. So the one thing I don't like about this statement, it's vague, it's open-ended. What's the definition of coming months? There is no definition. Coming months could be 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. It's subjective. I don't like this form of communication. I'm sure a lot of investors don't like this. Please give us some more clarity. Please give us a date. Please give us a deadline. So, you know, that's not something that I'm happy with. The required audit and legal compliance steps are inherently time consuming. That's what statement from Greg McCabe, who's the former chairman of Torchlight Energy. However, he's also said he's pleased with the progress so far. He may be pleased with the progress so far, but I think the vast majority of investors are definitely not pleased with the progress. So this is not an attack on the company Metamaterials. This is really an attack by many of the investors who on the process of this transaction with regards to the special dividend and preference shares. The key concern, I think, from most investors is lack of communication. It's also not enough communication. It's also not having an awareness and understanding of the market in order to foresee the future and these problems. You cannot just say, well, we didn't expect these problems. Well, you should have expected these problems because this is the business you are entering. So you know, that's not an excuse as far as I'm concerned. So the next paragraph I think is important, and the company has said here they've incurred a cost of $14.2 million. So again, that's negative news with regard to higher expenses and lower amount available for the company. And these costs are for drilling. So the longer the drilling carries on, the more these costs will continue. So that's a necessary cost. That's an essential cost. They do have to pay that in order to comply with the lease obligations. So upon the spin out, costs with the oil and gas operations will be carried by the oil co as a debt owed to Meta. So basically what Meta are saying, we're not paying for that. Oil co can pay for that. So that will be a liability for oil co, but for Meta Materials, it will be an asset. So positive news for Meta, negative news for oil co. The debt is secured as part of Greg McKay, former chairman of Torchlight Energy Resources, who is a significant holder of the shares. There can be no assurance that the oil co will be successful in securing necessary financing or that expenses occurred to date will be repaired to Meta. Again, not a great statement there. Investors should refer to additional risk factors related to the oil and gas assets for the company's Form 10K. So again, they're highlighting here the risks of investing, the risk of trading in this kind of transaction. And finally, at the bottom, we are saying here, Meta has been working diligently to complete the spin out of oil co, subject to compliance with all legal requirements and process approvals by all parties, including completion of the audit, and the company's objective has always been to ensure that the intrinsic value of the assets is maintained for the benefit of the Series A preferred stockholders, which is everybody here, to ensure that the oil co is spun out as rapidly as possible for the benefit of the preferred stockholders. So finally, what I'd now like to do is finish off by some final thoughts. So in terms of the overall thoughts, I think the key summary in terms of what we've just seen here is, I think the general consensus of opinion is most people will be disappointed. I think most people's key concerns are the expectations were high and the actual results and the facts and the outcomes are not as expected. So the key concern right now, I think, is the delay. And the other key concern, as far as I'm concerned, is there's no specific date. So the only guide we've been given there is in the coming months. So this gives the company more of an open-ended deadline, which is not good for investors, because we do need something a little bit more specific. I think the one thing I would like, certainly from George and from the company, is a running and continuous coverage of what's happening, and the reason why I think we should get this from the company is ultimately everybody who owns MMTLP is the owner or is going to be the owner of oil co eventually. So we will be the owners. So this bunch of management that are running Meta Materials and appointing these consultants are the people in charge. So we, the owners, are not in charge. So we don't make the decisions, but we have made the investment. That's how limited companies and will work. So unfortunately we have no power in terms of decision making, but what we can do is have a power to communicate together, express our opinions, and it's up to them to act in our interest. They are obliged to act in our interest. So again, until we get a final outcome, I still think, to finish off on a positive note, again, I think although this delay is certainly not welcomed, if the final settlement is positive, unfortunately, I still think many people will not be happy because of the significant delays. However, I think certainly we are hoping, in terms of what's happened with the oil price, as well as the potential increase in the value of gas, that any transfer of assets into oil co do utilize and kind of materialize into significant returns for investors. So unfortunately, overall conclusion, it's not the best news that we hope for, and I will not be one of those people that will going to come out here on the screen and defend George. That's the last thing I'll do. I'm sure many people have seen my previous video where I have asked significant questions for George. I've had some key concerns with regard to George. I think he's made significant mistakes, especially when he was tweeting the tweet with regard to torching the shorts. I think that was a very, very critical mistake, and it was also led to many people making investments with false expectations. So that was quite immature. Going forward in terms of the company, I'm still bullish on the company. I do believe in Meta Materials as a long-term potential great company. With regard to what's happened here, again, disappointed. So unfortunately, going forward, what we can do is trust in terms of the process, and fingers crossed we do get a positive outcome, although it will be a delayed outcome. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.